Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. We'll call the September 14th, 2020. Hang on. I'll wait. I was starting it a minute early anyway. What did I say, 2020? Well, didn't you hear me say to... He came in, he said, I want to see the meeting. I said, good, you can watch me stumble with my words because sometimes they just pause and won't want to come out. Okay, so now I will call the Commissioners meeting from September 14th, 2022 to order. If you would all rise for the pledge and a prayer.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless and watch over our country and our county. We ask that this meeting be conducted in accordance with your will. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. I am so glad to see so many turn out for an 11 o'clock meeting. That's great. Have the commissioners had the opportunity to review the previous minutes? I believe it's from the last public meeting on the 26th, and then our last commissioners meeting when we had the DLZ. Do we have both of those sets? Okay, just the last meeting. Okay, just the last meeting. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Make a motion, we accept them as presented.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Have the commissioners had the opportunity to review the claims?
Make a motion, we approve the claims as presented.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. And finally, payroll. Has the commissioners had the opportunity to review payroll?
Make a motion, we accept payroll as presented.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. So under reports, we have the clerk's monthly report, and we also have from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, it's a notice of a 30-day period for comment. The Indiana Department of Environmental Management has received an application from the Newcastle Correctional Facility located at 1000 Van Nuys Road, and this is just a 30-day public comment. Anybody can go out to the IDM and comment. Do I have a motion to accept the reports as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0. So we have several food and beverage claims. The first one is the Henry County match for the Okra grant in the form of $14,000. Should we do these individually?
I probably should.
Okay. So do I have a motion to accept the claim for food and beverage for the Henry County match for the Okra grant?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Then we have food and beverage for Nicetown Chamber billboard in the amount of $2,428. Do I have a motion to accept this food and beverage claim?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. And then we have a claim for the amount of $3,212. It's for the Wilbur-Wright birthplace for signage. Do I have a motion to accept this food and beverage claim for the Wilbur-Wright Museum signage?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. And last one, the Veterans Museum in the total of $548.16. Do I have a motion to accept this food and beverage claim for the Veterans Museum?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Corey, there is a microphone. I didn't see it. Go ahead. I didn't see the microphone when I looked up. Sorry.
Thank you, Commissioners. One potential action item for you, although if you wanted to table, that'd be fine too. So we have had 2 EPA assessment grants where the county has served as a member of the coalition, other members of the coalition, or the city of Newcastle, and then it has been either the town of Middletown or the town of Spiceland. We're not sure when the EPA is going to open up the grant. It could be next week. It could be in the middle of October. So we want to seek your permission to apply and the county to serve as the fiscal agent as they have in the past. In terms of match, there is not a financial match requirement. The match comes from primarily Penny's time and then the auditor's office time in terms of managing the claims. But if you want to think about that and we can come at a future meeting, that's fine. Just not knowing when they're going to open it up.
They could open it next week, or it could be 6 weeks from now.
You know, we're from the federal government and we're here to help. So we want to apply, and no real change in terms of procedure or how we interact with Debbie's office.
And you will need that before you apply?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can think about that. We can do it at a future meeting, but I wanted to remind you again that that's coming down the pike, but I don't know when.
So would you prefer that because it's just being a member of that?
And serving as the fiscal agent.
Serving as the fiscal agent.
And then the president of the commissioners will probably have to sign the application.
Okay. Discussion, you want to do something today, or you want to table till
I would
next?
make a motion that we allow you to proceed and apply for that grant.
I would second that.
Motion by Ed Tarantino, second by Steve Dellinger. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Get it out of the way, and that way you guys can move forward freely.
Appreciate that. Quick update. So we did the final walkthrough on the Shell building. Although to the eye, it was complete, but there was a punch list that we were working through. So it is now. We've made the final payment to the developer on the Shell building. Activity is swift in terms of business attraction. We've got 2 ongoing conversations with 2 separate parties interested in the building. So it is doing its job. The new roadway in there connecting Brooks to Commerce, Hayes Way, we're working on essentially a subdivision plat. So the whole purpose of building that road was to open up land that we already owned, but was kind of landlocked. And so eventually we'll be coming before the Planning Commission, hopefully before the end of the year, to have them approve that subdivision plat. And then simultaneously, we're working on water and sewer plans to run water and sewer up Hayes Way. And so the whole purpose of that is to have smaller sites available for development. So 8 acres all the way down to like 1 acre along that roadway. Ready, so $1.6 million allocated to projects within Henry County. The leadership within Henry County, so representative from Commissioner Plummer, President of the County Council, the city was represented, the hospital, the Community Foundation, Middletown, Knightstown. So the initial list of that 1.6 was $1 million for the 109 water project, $220,000 for the Wilbur Wright Trail up around Moreland, $190 for the Knightstown Library expansion accessibility project, and $190,000 to the YMCA for their capital campaign for before and after school childcare. All of those projects fit ready. The trail project has already been submitted to the state and approved. I don't anticipate any of those other projects being turned down. It's just a matter of getting them to a place in project readiness to make the submission. If you recall, on the YMCA project and the library project, the county leadership said, you know, you have until the end of November of this year to come up with a complete financing plan, or there might be interest in reassigning those dollars to other projects. I had a meeting with the YMCA executive director last week, and they're moving right along. So, and then I've seen notices in the paper about the library project in Knightstown. So I don't anticipate needing to reallocate. And then the 109 project is moving along as well, although it is such a large financial lift that they're still identifying other funding sources in addition to Ready, in addition to the town of Knightstown contribution and so on and so forth. But everything's moving along. And the IEDC, so the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, plans to ask the legislature in the upcoming session, which happens to be a budget session, for additional money for Ready 2.0. I don't know whether that's what they're going to call it. Some of my colleagues across the region have jokingly and affectionately called it Readier. Ha ha. Thank you. So
that was
yeah.
that was fun.
Don't quit your day job.
I won't. The difference is, if the legislature goes along with it, is they could use state dollars, maybe with a few less strings, maybe. So I think there's going to be a continued opportunity to leverage these funds on projects that are important to the county, and I will keep you up to date on that. Make my move. The marketing creation is happening. It's underway. I think we'll go live into September, early October. And so appreciate your support in that. And then on the kind of the tourism front, but also entrepreneurship front. So Jamie Ward is a Henry County resident. She's a travel writer, and she has written the book 100 Places You Need to See in Indiana Before You Die. We're going to do that book launch at the Hoosier Gym on September 29th from 5 to 7 p.m. September 29th, 5 to 7 p.m. at the Hoosier Gym. It's an open house.
I believe invites went out. I believe we got an invite.
Yes. I'm just taking advantage
Yes,
of
absolutely. Remind.
being behind a microphone.
Yeah, absolutely. Let the public know.
So that concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No,
Thank you.
I know Make My Move was out on the courthouse and spent time with the mayor going all over the city and the county. So I appreciate all their hard work in this marketing campaign. I know they've put a lot of time in.
They caught the commissioners hard at work too.
No makeup. But that's all right. Not my best side.
What was the saying, Commissioner Dellinger? Smoke follows beauty?
Oh, smoke follows beauty. That's what my dad
I think
always
people
said.
were saying that. I'm not sure it's true.
I had said that to Corey, and he'd never heard that. I don't know. My family's got weird sayings, so yeah, smoke follows beauty. Frost and Barrett. Or Barrett and Frost. It's Frost. Barrett and Frost. Frost and Barrett.
He knows what he's doing.
Two of the main things we have left are the golf tournament, which is pretty much sold out as far as golfers, but we'd like to thank all the sponsors that were involved in that. It's going to be a good fundraiser, mostly for the Newcastle Athletics, but partly for the 529 program. And then the last big thing we have here is the time capsule.
October 1st from 4, we just really nailed down some plans.
That's all right.
October 1st from 4 to 6. We will have items from the time capsule displayed. Hopefully it'll be beautiful weather. We were blessed with beautiful weather all throughout the bicentennial, so keep your fingers crossed. Displayed out on the lawn, and then we will have cards available for people to write things to put in the time capsule. And since it's not being buried,
Interned. Yes, I like your word
they
better.
won't deteriorate from moisture. And what else, Scott? We'll have a short ceremony because nobody wants to hear us talk.
I think Aaron and Betsy may talk a little bit, and maybe the mayor or any one of you wants to speak.
Okay.
And we'll talk as a committee a bit, because it's kind of our closing deal, and we'll talk a little about thanking people and maybe give a ballpark of what the 529 contribution is going to be and how it's going to work. So we'll use that. So we appreciate anyone coming out, because it'll be before 4 to 6, 4 to 5. It'll be before the cruise-in, the final cruise-in. So they were happy with
And I think it's going to look
coordinating.
pretty down there. Yeah.
Thank you for providing.
My goal, and I don't know when and how we can do this, but I would love to have the safe restored back to the original, because it's been painted over, and so to make it really pretty. I mean, it's beautiful, but bring it back to its glory would be my goal.
People would notice the time capsule.
Yeah, I think so. Aaron said that there's going to be a plaque.
On the safe itself, yes.
Yeah.
And then the monument will still go right back out in the lawn where
Okay.
the other
Where
one
it's-
was. Where did the other one go? Did we know?
I think it went to the
That's where it's supposed to
It
go.
was
That's where we
supposed to
thought
go
it
to the
should go.
Historical Society. I
That's
wasn't down there when it
perfect.
was
That's where we want it.
moved.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it was supposed to go to the Historical
Good.
Society or museum or, yeah.
And thank you very much to everyone for
Oh,
a
thank you guys.
successful-
Thank you guys for doing all that you did. Thank you very
was fun.
much.
We had fun.
Yeah,
It
we'll
was
do
fun. You're
again
going to
in
do it
200
again, Carrie? You're going to do something like that again?
In 200 years, yes.
Yeah, sure.
Come on, sign me up.
All right. Thank you. Josh.
Hello.
Hello.
Got Mike Blink with Steel Benefits here with me today. A little background. A lot of employers have years ago went to some sort of automated open enrollment for their employee benefits. And Henry County never really was interested in that significantly until COVID hit and sort of got forced into it. And the way the timing worked with our renewal, we have an internal system that we have a global license for that we can supply to our clients that we've had in place for a couple years at no cost to you. But it's pretty much a square peg, square hole kind of system. It's pretty basic. I mean, it does the job for a lot of employers, but for an employer your size and complexity, the last couple years we've seen some challenges. And so Ann and I had a conversation a few months ago, and we brought Mike out and did a demo with Steel. They've got a more robust system that's more customizable, a lot more interface and features with carriers that make your lives easier. And Steel really strictly does two things. They do technology solutions, so they build the technology, help manage that for you, and then they also provide enrollment services. So if we wanted to do one-on-one meetings, education with employees or call center or virtual, any of those kind of things, they have the ability to do that. So we came out and did a demo with Ann, and then we had an executive session with you and just kind of talked at a high level and got a formal proposal and put that together. And just a quick recap, Steel works currently with 24 counties in Indiana doing this exact thing. They enroll 1 in 3 school employees in the state of Indiana. We work with Steel on a large number of our employer groups side by side on these two things. So we got a baseline proposal from them to do all of this, including our ACA reporting. And some of these things we are paying for elsewhere right now. Like we pay UGS to do our ACA reporting about $3,000 a year. We pay a $1,500 connectivity fee annually for the current system we have for those feeds to go out to the carriers, so that like when an employee enrolls or Ann makes a change, it just happens in the system, and then it goes out and talks to all and makes those changes, adds terms, that sort of thing. So we're already spending close to $5,000 right now on some of the services that they would provide. Their proposal was $13,900 annually for the system. A lot of the carriers have tech credits and other sort of overrides, depending on the arrangement and what we do. We talked a little bit about maybe you have like 5 or 6 kind of just old like work site type, Aflac type products that kind of are dead out there not being worked. We have arrangements with carriers where if we consolidate and look at those programs, Mike and I believe we likely can get most of the rest of that paid by the carriers, like Aflac or someone similar. So it's hard for us to tell you exactly probably what the net cost of this is going to be if we were to implement it. But we think it's going to be really minimal, if not zero. And Ann can probably tell you that between the two of us, you have a lot of classes of employee, unlike a lot of employers, like 30 of them, like, you know, eligible for this benefit or Plan B or spousal carve out after this day to hire, under 65 retiree, over 65 retiree. We have people that when the retiree goes to the Humana plan, they get to stay on the plan. That's its own class. So with the current system, we sort of spend a ton of time untangling all the problems that happen because that system is just probably not equipped to manage that. So we'll answer any questions you might have. We were tentatively talking about like a first quarter launch for 2023 to get prepared for our open enrollment, which would happen like April, May timeframe, to put the system in, possibly look at doing one-on-one enrollments. We have some contracts with some of those, like we've looked at the Aflac products, like we think with some of the modern contracts, you're on a really old version, we can actually save employees that are enrolled in those products a ton of money by consolidating things. So we see a lot of upside to do this, and probably a net, hopefully, savings for the county and its employees if we were to do this. So happy to answer any questions.
So this is something that we would, and this is kind of a question/statement, that we would want to have all the, maybe start with department heads and employees to see this and how it would implement and function.
Yeah, and you know, like Newcastle schools, we do this. Not that you have to do it this way, but a lot of employers, there could be a self-enrollment opportunity where somebody could just go online and they want to do their own. They're pretty tech savvy. So like the school does, the first week they do a self-enrollment, and then the second week they have benefit counselors on site. If people want to meet with them, the counselors will actually key the enrollment, do it all for them, answer questions. So you could do one or the other or a combination of that, but we certainly could do a demo of the system and kind of talk about this with department heads and show them how it would work. I think most of them would probably find it easier than the current system to navigate, and there's a ton of customization and things that we can do to make sure it's just exactly what you want.
Okay. Questions? comments, questions, comments?
No.
Need more information as far as what you said, having a meeting with them.
Okay, you want to?
You want to try to schedule a demo? Like,
yeah.
I mean, we could even do it virtually if
Yeah.
everybody wanted
We'll
to do that. We
Look
could.
at everybody's schedule, and I think we could do that with department heads at the same time, and get a demo
Yeah.
so that everybody can see what it does. I've seen it, but yeah, I agree. So
Yeah,
we'll
I would just think like, we kind of need to work backwards from, say, an April date.
Right.
They need 90 or so days.
So if we get something scheduled in the next couple weeks,
Yeah, if we could do that, and then
in the next couple weeks,
try to have decisions where we could, if we were going to do it, they could start the system build and all those kind of things. Because there's connectivity with the carriers and things that have to happen, you know, before the open enrollment. So.
okay, so we'll get that, we'll set it out, and we'll get it scheduled, and we'll let you know. We'll get it scheduled in the next couple weeks.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Josh.
All right, thanks.
I saw her walk in. Angela, do you have anything? I know we hadn't, this changing of the policy of the smoking, I know we were going to review.
I'm fine with it. If you want to
Add that.
motion to adopt that.
Okay. So do I have a motion to adopt the proposed change in policy, adding the vaping to the tobacco use, non-tobacco use, not allow vaping in the buildings?
So moved.
Second?
All those, motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. Stacy's not here. Joe Copeland. And that contract that he's got in the tab 12.
Morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good. I only have one item this morning, and that's the federal aid side program to replace signs in the western 4 townships. Of course, we got the money from the feds, went through the selection process. First group engineering was selected after we went through all the grading of each proposal, and now the state has sent their standard agreement between the LPA and the consulting firm. So that's what I have this morning, is to sign the contract for approving a sign for us to pay the consultant. Now, the total is $56,300, but we're reimbursed 90% because this is safety money. And Joel has
Have reviewed it.
received
I've looked at it, it's the standard form agreement. In this particular form, it's very favorable to the county, so.
Okay. So do I have a motion to accept the LPA consulting contract between Henry County and First Group Engineering for sign replacement?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Do you need a copy, or do you have?
No, we've got copies, thank you.
All right, that's all I have.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Steve, you don't have anything? Tom's not here. Sheriff McCorkle, you have anything?
Well, just want to bring your attention to get the head count every day, and you can see we had 216 yesterday, 216 Monday, 214 today, which puts us at full. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention. I wouldn't want a federal judge saying that I did not bring that to someone's attention.
Yeah, I think a conversation is going to have to start on moving forward with the addition on that project, because it's going to take a while to go through everything, but if we're at capacity, I'm assuming everybody is notified at the federal level daily as well?
And again, I'm not opposed to doing something with the work release.
Right,
Possibilities. Also, that Dick Rogers has agreed to run a drug program at the jail.
okay,
Supposed to start that on or about October 3rd, which will take 16 men out of
still there?
We're working on it daily.
So we're moving forward with that, JCAP. So all we need to do is do the salary ordinance for that to get that approved, because it was funded for the ARP money the first year.
So as they say, if you build it, they will come.
Yes, you build it, they will come. Did we build it too nice?
108 days.
108 days. 108 days. All right. Debbie, do you have anything? Clerk's not here. Memorial Park? Oh, is clerk here? Oh, Jenny, I didn't see you. I'm so sorry. Do you have anything? Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see you out of the corner of my eye.
I've seen it on the itinerary, so I don't know if you want to talk about it later, but the shelter house FPVH
Oh, we can do that.
contract now,
Yeah,
or
we can do that now too, as well. It's in tab 6. So apparently we missed this, and I'm not sure how we missed it, but we missed it at the last meeting. Apparently there was 2 contracts and we did not approve the second one. So this one is shelter building structural review, preliminary assessment from FBPH. It's in tab number 6. For a total of $4,350. Do I have a motion to accept this quote?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Sorry about that. We just missed it.
that's okay. Do you want to sign this copy, or do you have a copy to sign? You have a copy?
Yeah, they have
Okay.
copies.
Awesome. The only other thing that we're planning out there is our Fall Fest, October 15th. It's a park-wide trick-or-treat fall fest, 100%. Live music. The library is going to come out and do some crafts for the kids. We'll have treats and music and DJ and, of course, the trick-or-treating. So, it'll be fun times.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Assessor. I saw Lisa from the recorder's office. Do you have anything, Lisa? Weights and Measures not here. Henry County EMS is not here. Bill, do you have anything? Okay. All right. So added, and it's not on the itinerary there because we got this morning. It's a quote from Piney for the Justice Center. It's a repair on a hot water domestic pipe in the boiler room. The circulating pipe is leaking and needs repair before it blows out and makes a bigger problem. So it is a quote for $1,807 to make this repair. Do I have a motion to accept this quote? I know it. We're spending.
I get so sick of approving quotes for that, but
Yeah.
so moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. So next we have an employment, the employment agreement. I don't know that, I know Ed and Steve, I was not able to attend the interview process. I know that they both interviewed the gentleman, and we have an employment agreement, assuming that he accepts it. I don't need to read this employment agreement. So do I have a motion to accept this employment agreement upon Mr. Van's acceptance of the offer?
So moved.
Second.
Motion carried by Steve Dellinger, motion made by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. And then we have the Right Stuff contract, which is, we started this conversation, how long ago, Debbie, did we start this conversation? Months ago, regarding Right Stuff, which is a timekeeping software that will assist greatly in tracking all of the information, whether it's sick time, vacation time, comp time. And Joel has reviewed this contract. I believe, were there any changes made to it?
There were some changes made over time to it.
Okay. So this is the contract. And again, the funds were appropriated through the ARP money to purchase this software. So do I have a motion to accept this contract and to move forward with the Right Stuff software timekeeping software, excuse me?
I move we accept the contract.
I didn't hear what he said.
He said he moved to accept
So
the
moved.
contract.
I will second it.
Motion made by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. And then we also have, under tab 7, it is the professional services contract. So we are, at the new jail, we are working through the Indiana Department of Corrections at GEO. We get our water softened through their system before it is moved over into the jail. And we have a contract for that. Joel has reviewed it. It's in the sum of a year, in the sum of $22,562.40 that we will pay the Department of Corrections for the softened water supplied to the Henry County Jail. Do I have a motion to accept this contract? And it will be paid quarterly. On the back is a quarterly payment of $5,640.60.
You're okay with that, Rick?
Don't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, we
I was
have-
going to say, didn't we originally have that figured in? We were going to soften our own, and it was,
We were guesstimating, and then they couldn't tell us exactly the cost at the time. We knew that it was going to cost.
yeah.
I move we accept.
I will second that.
Motion carried, or motion made by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. So we also have an easement. We do these annually or multiple times a year from Laura Santos and CenterPoint Energy for easements for the natural gas pipeline. This easement is a temporary easement of 2.088 acres at 20 land value assessed at $1,500 per acre, offering $20,000. The easement is 2.088 acres times 20,000 times 10%. So we will get it's $4,773.70. And I believe that Steve, you can speak to this, but I believe you brought, because we rent that ground to Mr. Koger, and you have had discussions with Mr. Koger regarding easement and crop damage valuations.
Yeah, they've already talked to him. They came up with an amount. They're paying him for his crop damage and any additional damage, because the original agreement, we already had approved. This is an extension of that agreement. They had to go a little farther than what they thought. They've reached an agreement with him, and this is our portion of it.
Okay.
So I move we accept it.
So you are making that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Day of Caring, so we are doing, we have several employees that have signed up for Day of Caring. That will take place, it's the United Way's annual Day of Caring, October the 7th of 2022. So if anybody is interested in reaching out to the United Fund and signing up to help throughout the county for Day of Caring, it would be greatly appreciated. So we have a payroll schedule and a holiday schedule. So the payroll schedule is like it has been for the last few years, 26 pay periods, and we need to adopt the 2023 payroll schedule. Do I have a motion?
I move that we adopt it.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. We also have the 2023 claim schedule, date to submit claims and the payable dates. Do I have a motion to accept the claim schedule?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And I know you presented the holiday schedule. I don't have a copy in my book. But I know the question became, next year is a election year for the city. The county does not close, but typically we give flex days, 2 flex days to the employees because I believe the clerk's office closed. Is that why that? Yeah. So along with accepting the schedule, with the exception that we need to also consider giving 2 flex days because it's an election year for the city to the employees that don't close. So do I have a motion to accept them as presented? I think I gave you guys all a copy. I just don't have a copy in the book. The holiday schedule. It's the same as last year. The 2 flex days.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. So on Monday, we had a meeting to discuss last Friday, or whatever Friday it was, I don't remember now. We had DLZ come in and present their assessment for this building, the Justice Center, and the Masonic Building. And then we had a meeting on Monday to discuss it a little bit further and how we want to proceed. So all 3 buildings, it's roughly $11 million to fix everything that's wrong or needs to be repaired. I shouldn't say wrong, that needs to be repaired in all 4 buildings. So the decision was made that we would send all of that information to our bonding, to Ice Miller, and they can include that in the information when they come back. Is it September 22nd that they're coming to the council meeting for bonding? So we can move forward and see how we can get as much done with as much, well, there will be some discussions on grants and other funding that we can probably do to get some things done with these buildings. Do you want to add anything? Ed, do you want to add anything?
No, it's just been, sounds like it is a lot of money, about almost half the cost of the jail, but we have not done maintenance, particularly on this building, for a very long time.
Very.
And so the costs have added up, and we are going to try to address it as much as we can. We probably will not come up with $11 million, even with the bonding, but we may get close to between 7 and 8 million. And as DLZ presented it to us, they put it in 4 categories, category 1 and 2 being the most critical, and we should be able to address all of those things at the very least.
I would love to be able to, I want to be able to, and I think you made that same statement, Steve, we want to try to go outside besides the bonding and see how we can leverage some of the, either the art money or other funding to potentially get up to the 11 million, because if we only do 3s and 4s, 1s and 2s quickly becomes 3s and 4s, and then you're kicking the can down the road, and in 10 years it's going to be at the exact same spot. So we're moving forward with that. Hopefully we can get all that move forward in a quick fashion, because it'll be taking a while to get all of this done, and if any of the art funding is used, that has to be spent by 2026. So kind of in a time crunch with being able to use any of that money. So we also have 10. We have an ordinance number 2022-09-14004, an ordinance vacating a public way. Whereas Donald E. Thomas and Robin L. Thomas have filed a petition to vacate a public right-of-way that can be described as follows. That portion of the platted right-of-way between 4919 South Broad Street, New Lisbon, Indiana, parcel number 002-05302-00, and 4927 South Broad Street, New Lisbon, Indiana, parcel number 002-05303-00. Whereas Henry County has no need to utilize this area as a public way and is not utilized by the public as means of ingress or egress, and now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of Henry County that the petition to vacate real estate filed by Donald E. Thompson and Robin L. Thompson, in which they seek to vacate a public way contiguous to real estate they own, should be granted. The public way to be vacated is not located with any incorporated municipality. Be it further ordained that the following public way is hereby vacated, to wit, that portion of the platted right-of-way between 4919 South Broad Street, New Lisbon, Indiana, parcel number 002-05302-00, and 429 South Broad Street, New Lisbon, Indiana, parcel number 002-05303-00. A map depicting the area to be vacated is attached to this ordinance as Exhibit A. This ordinance shall be in effect from and immediately after its passage, adopted by the Board of Commissioners of Henry County, Indiana. So then we have to have a public hearing after this.
Yeah, the public hearing, I've already had notices.
Okay.
Haven't delivered for publication, so at the next meeting, you'll have a public hearing.
Okay, at the 28th, we'll have a public hearing on it.
Given that Thomas is on both sides of it, I can't imagine it would be.
Yeah, correct, right, okay.
They'll have to jump through the hoops.
Right to do so. Right. Do I have a motion to accept ordinance number 2022-09-14004 as presented?
Second.
We can adopt it now?
You don't need to adopt.
Oh, we don't need to adopt it now. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, okay, there we go. So we don't need to adopt it. I am so sorry. Okay, so we're on to the Hope Building. So we did not get any bids when we opened it up for the Hope Building. And I believe when we went through this second round of bidding, hopefully we were wanting to get a bid, but if not, the discussion was that we were going to open it up for bringing in a realtor and having a realtor assist in selling that building. So I guess my question is on that, if that's the way we go, obviously we have to open it up to multiple realtors to say that they want to, or?
Well, it is a professional service, so technically
Okay.
you wouldn't need to do that.
Okay.
You can select anyone you wanted to
Okay.
use. The only thing on your end, you have to publish a notice of your intent to utilize
So,
a realtor,
okay.
not to take care of doing that. I mean, I
Okay.
think that's essentially what it needs to say is that you're utilizing
The realtor,
the realtor.
okay. Do I have a motion for Joel to do public notice that we intend to use a realtor to hopefully sell the Hope Building, or what we describe as the Hope Building?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Steve Dellinger, second by Ed Tarantino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Lastly, we have come to the EMS building, so we opened this up to bids for 60 days. We had received 2, but one this week notified that they were removing their bids. So any discussion or any if you want, do you have any questions for Mike or Scott before we move
I don't have
forward?
any questions, but since we did have a $30,000 bid, which was withdrawn, and since the bid that we have did not meet the minimum bid, I'd rather not take action on this today. We never had a chance to discuss it. So I would like to just table this.
I guess we discuss, that's what this meeting is for, is to discuss.
Just to answer, statutorily, you could take a bid, it's under the minimum use of this procedure. I mean, you have to establish a minimum asking price, but if you so choose, you could take a bid that's under it.
Right, but we hadn't discussed whether we're willing to take a bid
Okay,
under
yeah,
it.
that's,
And so, because of that, I would like to table this.
I'd second that. Like I said, I was curious as to why the second bid got withdrawn, because that just kind of blew me away with the interest they had in the building, and then pulled it. But,
Well, I did have discussion with Jeff Ray yesterday, and he said the reason he withdrew his bid was his group, his board, did not want to compete against private individuals who wanted to fix a building downtown. They're only interested in buildings that we couldn't find a private or a business group to buy and fix the building. So that his board wanted to withdraw their bid.
guess I would ask, Mike, I mean, I showed you the building. Do you have any plans other than just trying to fix what's done to the building now, or is there some kind of, because I think that was our biggest concern, was to try to get something in there, and I think that's our stumbling block at this point.
Sure, it'd be nice, but we really don't have a tenant for that right now. And on our previous buildings, we've never had a tenant when we started. The plan is to improve the building and decide whether that needs to be 1 or 2 retail locations and how much the building gets opened up inside. Originally, that was a church, so the beams upstairs looked like they could hold a freestanding space there. And I guess the big thing is, we went up and looked at it again yesterday, and the top of that building, it's not going to take too much this winter, freezing and falling, to move that brick out. I mean, some of it's halfway out. So,
Yeah, our intent would be to immediately work on the facade. I mean, as far as getting contractors in there as soon as possible. So the improvement and I guess the safety aspect of it would be addressed immediately with us, rather than having to wait weeks or months to get that moving. So we've always done that in all of our buildings. We don't wait. We work immediately and try to get someone into them as quick as possible, tenant-wise.
So we have
Mr. Murphy, what would you like to say?
come on up. No, I didn't see you have your hand up. I'm sorry.
He's kind of shy and sits in the back.
I think I sent you all an email the end of last month after the City Redevelopment Commission meeting, where the city RDC allocated some funding to that address, not to a specific developer. But that funding would flow through the Newcastle Main Street's BRAP program, Building Renovation Assistance Program. So a delay here delays that process as well.
Why would it delay the funding?
Because currently, the funding is not available to government-owned buildings.
I don't think that the motion to table is to table for months and months and months.
Okay.
That, I mean, I can't speak for these two, but this is not something that's going to be tabled for.
No, I
if it
think we'll
passes, I mean, why was it-
probably take action on it at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Some type of action. Another thing, when we made the announcement to the public to bid on the building, that benefit of the 40% being paid on that building
Up to $60,000.
was not publicly known until a few days before the bid ended. So most people who might have considered that building did not know about that decision because it only came out a few days before the end of the bid. So,
And obviously, we're not going to hold it up very long, because we've already gotten a notice from the city that the building's not in the best shape, and they wanted us to take some sort of action. So I do have a bid to have it demolished if we get to that point, because I'm not paying fines on that building. I'm not going to do it. So that's kind of where this all kind of headed that direction. I have talked to them. They are willing to work with us on that. We told them we are trying desperately to sell the building. We just really thought maybe we'd get a little more out of it than that, since it was appraised higher than that.
Would you
So
explain, because I saw Patty has a question about demolishing the building.
the bid we got was $34,500. Which made me hiccup a little, but yeah.
And nobody's saying that that building is going to be demolished?
No, I just said,
At all?
when I got the letter from the city saying that we had to do something and that it was in bad shape, and basically it was kind of like it was uninhabitable type letter and that we were going to be fined within the next 15 days if we didn't take some sort of action. And maybe it was a knee-jerk on my part, but I called to see what it was going to happen because I wasn't going to waste more money on it. If it was in that bad a shape, then maybe it needed to be taken down. Certainly that was within our rights. I don't think it's that bad, but, you know, when somebody hands you a letter saying they're going to start fining you for something, you have to weigh out all your options at that point, so that's what I did.
Could you come up to the microphone, Patty?
The letter from the city said 15 days. When did you
Well,
receive that
we
letter?
have
We
responded to
responded.
that.
We
We
had
had to
15 days to
respond within
respond.
15 days. We
So
don't
we
have
did
to make a
that.
decision within 15 days. We had to respond within 15
Yeah,
days.
it
which
was
we
15
did.
days to respond, or they were going to start fining us. So we responded, told them we had it for sale, we had plans to sell it, and it also included demolition if it came to that. So we
Right.
had everything on the table, and we explained that to them. I got a call from Mr. Melton from the city, and he said that would suffice their board, that we actually were making progress and moving forward with it. So that's where we're at right now.
Okay. Because in tabling this, I'm wondering if it will
They may. I mean, we can't make decisions based upon what we think that the city might
city's
do.
going to do.
Just like they don't make decisions based upon what the county's going to do. We just, you know, we have a motion and a second, and we'll move forward however, once we take the
I
vote.
think right
but-
now the conversation is fluid between the city and us on the fact that we were actually doing something. They were concerned at the fact that it had been a year since the barrels were placed out front, and that they wanted to know what our plans were. And since we told them in the letter, they sent us a form, we filled it out and sent it back to them, that we explained everything that we were doing and why. And I got a call back from Kenny and said that took care of everything he needed on his end. So as long as we were making progress, we were okay as of now. So yeah, I mean,
That
it was
was our
just,
concern too. That was our concern too, because you got the letter. And are they going to do the same thing for us? And that's when you said, we will table it, we'll think about it. Is it cutting into our time too? If we
I
decide.
doubt it very much.
If we decide.
If I
to
mean,
keep
I
our-
can't speak for the city, but I doubt it. Once it's sold, I doubt it very much.
and if need
I
be,
mean,
I
I can't
would.
speak for the city. I mean, don't even attempt to speak for the city. I don't know what they're gonna do when it's sold, or whoever gets the building.
And whoever buys it, if it comes to that, I'm not sure I have any clout or weight with the city, but I would talk to whoever is involved who buys it on your behalf with the city to make sure we can get something worked out.
Yeah, we had the building inspector down inspecting our, the old Goodwin Bell bonding building yesterday. And I took him up and asked him what we would have to do. And he said, you'd have to file a plan within the 15 days, just like what you guys did, which I think we've kind of got that lined up a little bit. We'll know a little bit more this afternoon when we meet with somebody. But the delay kind of messes all that up too, so.
Okay. Anybody, Joel, you look like you wanted to say something. Okay.
The only last thing I'd say, I'm a member of the Preservation Board for downtown. I'm just one vote, but I doubt we would vote to allow that building to be demolished. I mean,
I understand.
we fight to keep buildings.
I absolutely understand, but I will also say that, you know, you look at all options. I'm not saying that building's going to get torn down, but you look at all options, because if it is as uninhabitable as everybody is saying it is it a danger and it needs to go away? That's just a question. I'm not saying it is, but everybody is, it appears, hair's on fire, the building's going to fall down if it's that unsafe. That's why Mr. Dellinger called to get a quote, just in case. You know, it was a just in case. It's not a.
I was going to say, I didn't have any intention
No.
of doing that, but when I got the letter and the letter said it was inhabitable and
Yeah.
it was a danger,
Yeah.
you know, you have to do something. It's the same reason that I believe the front of it was going to fall off in the last year. I was told it's been like that for decades and nobody's done anything. but we moved everybody out of it because we wanted to err on the side of caution as opposed to leave people in it and then something happens and then shame on us for not doing anything. So I wanted to make sure that before we did anything that all of our ducks were in a row, that we had covered all of our bases. And that's why I called and got an estimate for what it would take because, I mean, that's a sizable amount of money to have to spend too.
Well, just as the Preservation Board, I'm sure we'll fight to, whether it's us or someone else fixing it up, going that route as opposed to tearing it down.
Sure.
We don't want to
I
lose
completely
anything
understand.
else. We don't need another empty lot downtown. So.
All right, so we have a motion to table and a second. Any further discussion on this? Sure, Carrie, discuss. I wasn't
Yeah,
sure
I'll
if
do
you were
it.
just letting him in or if you wanted to say something.
I mean, downtown is just so, it's full of promise and joy and excitement right now. And
Nobody's going to tear the building down.
I know,
Phil.
I don't care about tearing the building down. The sooner you make a decision, the sooner it can get on the tax rolls.
I understand.
So,
And that's our end goal
apparently-
is
I know,
to,
you got it right here.
I
You
know,
could do
but
it right
apparently-
now. It would be so
apparently there
great.
are-
but we also
So I have
have
some questions.
48,000 taxpayers that technically it's their money that we're taking or spending. So we have to weigh all of our options out
I
and decide
know,
how we
but-
get the most bang for their buck. And used to it was we gave it away for $1 and we're trying to get away from that
But
mentality.
this is more than $1.
But I do,
Yes.
I do also agree that I'm very appreciative to the RDC and the BRAP for adding that in, but it was also added in at the very end that other people that may have bid on that building did not know that they would, it could potentially apply to that.
Because we did have
I-
other people who actually had said something and.
I know, but it's so, you
I-
guys
I
are-
understand.
Look, I'm Bambi, and you're just killing my mom. Just come on, and, I mean, it's for the good of the cause, but that's all I got to say. Courtney,
I'm not killing your mom.
The reason why it was added is because we had a private entity interested.
Well, but maybe other private entities would have done it, had been interested had they know that that was available. Because my question is was it only because you had the one private entity interested that you did it?
But that was the catalyst for doing it.
Well,
But the money was made, the money was obligated to the address. The money was not obligated to a specific developer.
Correct. So being
And see, and that's
obligated
the
to
thing,
the
I had two other
address,
people who said that if,
had they known?
basically said that they would have made offers had they known that money was available because they couldn't justify buying it
So
and putting that in.
So in the interest of maybe getting to the end goal faster, what type of process would you all need to do to open up the bids?
We would have to reject all bids.
See,
So
I-
it sounds
start
like
over.
to me, you all want to maybe give some other developers an
I
opportunity
don't-
to
there's
bid.
just-
Well, we would
questions.
also like to have gotten a bid that was closer to the asking price. This is way below the asking price. And for a building on Main Street, a prominent corner right across from the courthouse, the price we were asking, which I believe was $25,000, seemed reasonable. Especially reasonable with the additional help from the RDC. So to take less, I mean, suppose the bid was 2,000. Should we just take it because somebody's willing to, you know? I think we would have been more apt to take it had it been closer to the $25,000 asking price, which I think was very reasonable.
So I guess the question now becomes, do you want to table it? Do you want to keep your motion to table? Do you want to rescind that motion and do a reject and open it back up? Oh, is it your motion to table? Excuse me, I thought it was
I
yours.
think I still just want to table it because we have not discussed it that much as
Well, we're
commission.
discussing it now, so either the options are we table it, we accept it, or we reject all bids. Those are the three options. Right now, there's a motion on the floor to table it.
Right,
because I
the
don't know
motion
what
is to
other
table it
discussion-
because I think if we just table it, we could then take action 2 weeks from now.
Well,
If we reject it, then it's going to take several months to advertise.
Well, nothing is going to change 2 weeks from now. tabling it. It will still be the same decision, one bid. If it's tabled, it's one bid. It's the same decision to make today as it will be in 2 weeks if it's tabled. There is no opening up for bid on on tabling. Tabling takes this process and just moves it 2 weeks from now. There'll be no other decisions to make. It's the same decision.
Would they be allowed to raise their bid within the next 2 weeks?
I think you would have, well, Joel, you can answer that, but
I don't think there would be anything that would prohibit them legally from coming back and saying, we'd be willing to table one.
Right. So there's something that could be
Well-
changed without,
I understand, but I understand that. I totally do. But let's say they don't, and we're back to this exact same spot.
And we can make-
And we've delayed it 2 more weeks. And then it'll be 2 weeks, and then it'll be another process. Because I think that the other process would be, just like the Hope Building, and I don't know how everybody's going to vote, because right now the only thing is on table. But if this bid is not accepted, I think that's the same process with the Hope Building to bring in a realtor. Or open it up to rebid. I mean, there's several options. One is bringing it up to a realtor. So I guess the motion, there's a motion to table.
So there's a motion and a second to
And a
table.
second. So, my concern is tabling it as we're just tabling it and delaying for 2 more weeks, is my concern, but there is a motion. So a motion by Ed Tarantino to table, second by Steve Dellinger. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, I'm going to oppose it because I think we should just either, my reasoning behind it, I understand tabling. My reason behind it is we needed to make a decision to move forward, either reject all bids and reopen it. I don't think that we're going to gain a whole lot by delaying this by 2 more weeks. So I will vote nay. So motion carries 2-1 to table. Okay. Anything else? Motion to adjourn? Oh, well, I guess sorry. I meant anything else, any public comment? Anybody else have anything? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.